Hey everyone. So recently I just landed a job as an senior AI consultant at one of the big four consulting companies, KPMG, where I will be implementing AI tools for different business lines within the bank and for clients. So this is my little presentation here talking about going from business school to AI consultant and just going over my experience and how I got there. So my journey started back in when I was in doing my master's program in 2022. It was November, and I was on a school trip to San Francisco. And this was actually at the same time around when ChatGPT 3.5 was coming out, and there was a lot of buzz around the tool. And one of my really good friends mentioned that I should try it out. And ever since then, I was honestly enamored by how good the tool was and what the potential was of this tool. So I just started using it every day. I started using ChatGPT to help me code, and it was not good at first. I just had to copy and paste everything into VS Code. There wasn't like V0 or Lovable at the time, but I learned through a lot of failure and errors. But it's so much easier now, and I think having that base knowledge is so key. And then the next step was getting practical experience. So my very first job in coding was actually a school part-time job in the summer. I was working on the school's website, and I had not done a computer science background at all. So I wasn't sure what exactly to expect, but it wasn't that bad. I was just using WordPress and learning that way and just going on YouTube to learn them. It wasn't that bad at all. And it gave me that initial foray into coding, eventually using AI. The next company that I worked at was another summer. It was another internship at a wealth management company. And although my job wasn't particularly to do coding or I just naturally started doing it and saw it as a means to create value. So building the website, working on marketing material, that was all things that were adding value. And so I just worked on them and actually did help out a lot. And I continued to build my skills that way. The next job for me was the first official kind of corporate job where I was working as a innovation strategy consultant. And I didn't really know what that was at the time. I was trying to get into tech, but there wasn't really an option immediately out of school to maybe be a software engineer. So I found this consulting job where basically you're helping this large organization innovate and create new technologies that will benefit the bank. And it was really interesting at first and I loved it, but I was really like craving getting more AI experience and actually being in there building it. One of my hardest ones was one where I had to do a hands-on Python coding test. I thought I was going to be able to just use Cursor, but actually they wanted me to build something by hand, which in my personal opinion, I don't think is the right approach because AI coding is the future, but I do understanding the fundamentals. But yeah, I ended up not doing well. But at the end of the day, it's not a big deal at all because the worst thing that happens is you don't get the job. And the best thing is you obviously get the job and more opportunity. If anything, you're getting experience. So still was a good learning opportunity. A big thing with me was obviously I mentioned that I started using ChatGPT to learn. But another thing is like going to these AI companies like Anthropic, Google, this other one that's really good called Together AI, even the database companies like Supabase, they're all like give out really good demos and tutorials. They're showing you how to use their tools because they're also learning. And I find that the faster you get into those documentations, especially when it's early on, you learn so fast because they're learning as well. So then going into like my first paid AI consulting gigs, I had a friend who was working at a startup, or it was his startup that he founded, and he was trying to build an AI tool, and he saw that I was building AI tools, and he said, "Hey, I'll give you a shot. Let's do one draft version of this." And I went ahead and did it, and he really liked it. We learned a lot about what is the potential use of this tool, and we ended up doing a second round, whereas I was getting paid hourly. So we started with a 50-hour package, and then we wanted to extend it to 100 hours to continue working on this. And it was really valuable. It was a great learning experience. And it really showed me that I could provide value just by showing the proof of concept and getting it into production quickly. Another kind of tool that I built during a hackathon that really helped me excel was this slide building presentation website. that allows you to build slide presentations. And that was the next step into my journey. And we won that hackathon, and it gave me even more confidence and it excited me. In terms of essential learning and tools, would highly recommend playing around with Cursor, VZero, Lovable. Like, they're so easy nowadays just with natural language to build a website, and you see exactly how the tools work. In terms of AI platforms, as I mentioned earlier, going into the documentation of OpenAI, Anthropic, Gemini, they give away a lot of tools and resources because they want you on their platform using it. And then the last one is like Supabase, Together AI, Vercel. These are the infrastructure layer companies, and they also provide a ton of resources because they too are trying to learn it fast. I'm about 4 years, three and a half to 4 years into this journey, and I love this career that I chose. And it's really hard, but also really fulfilling. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to drop them in the chat or message me directly. Also, you can subscribe to my channel. I will also put the link to this website here in the comments of the YouTube video, and I'd love for you to visit and give me your feedback on what you like. But yeah, thank you so much for listening, and see you in the next one.